We couldn't put together that perfect Sunday that it takes to win out here until Pomona. And that was a flawless Sunday, but the 5 races previous to that, and not going to go into details, it was a different thing every single weekend that went wrong, whether it be the driver, the race car, the engine, the clutch, whatever it was, something different every time. Doesn't really matter. Takes a complete team effort to do it perfectly and win. And we just flat didn't get that done till the final race. And that final race, Joe, at Pomona was one of those flawless days that you dream about. And people ask me many times, can you win this deal? And I said, you know what? I believe, the strongest car. I have a great chance to win this. I should be able to win this thing. But if you look at past history and that I lost so many races in a row, should be no chance I should be able to win. So I didn't really know how to look at it. Certainly felt confident going into every race, but then you look at the results from all those races and not able to close the deal and had no business winning. So I'm not quite sure how you look at it. I tried to do it on a positive side. I'm the guy to beat. I'm the guy to win, and just got to execute. And thank the Lord we finally did it on Sunday at Pomona, Joe. That's all I can say.
Amazing. Well, that's how it's supposed to happen. The final round of the final race. A couple of photographs. Obviously, you and Cody. Cody is awesome. The belt, right? You and Jim Greenleaf, these wrestlers gave you guys a championship belt. What do you think of the addition of a championship belt to the NHRA Champions hardware? I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. We did that earlier this year at the Getrix showdown up in Chicago, and I got a belt sort of similar to that. So I give NHRA kudos for taking a hint off of that. That was a pretty cool deal. And Cody's so doggone proud. I don't think he took it off all night long. He wore it to the restaurant and down to the Pechanga Casino. So it's a heck of an honor. It's a neat deal that we haven't seen before in pro stock and in the drag racing period. So yeah, absolutely a great addition. NHRA, kudos to you.
Amazing. And this moment, I think this is great because, you were surrounded by family and the support of the family. This, of course, Kim, she was very excited, like the good times and the bad, but they're there for you.
Yeah, that was like good old days for us. We had a lot of days like this back in our early days, and just it's been a little bit of a lean run, I guess. If you don't win every year, you call it a lean run, but it's been a little bit of a dry spell, lean run, and it just feels great to get back to the top. And it doesn't matter by how much. We won the race by 0.02 of a second, but as they say, Joe, an inch is as good as a mile. So nobody's going to remember how much the difference was. They're just going to look and see who won that race in that year, and it gets to be us this time.
I wanted to, and I didn't have time, but all you producers at home, you can definitely do this if you like. It's available on NHRA.com. Like, how many thousandths of a second did you lose the races you lost by, right? And there's a couple, it's like 6,000, 5,000. Talking about how Jed Coughlin said he lost 3 races by 4,000 in the countdown total, right? Like, that's what's going on. There have been some rules changes. There have been some aggressive policing of pro stock. Now that we're at the finish line, the conclusion, you've won. You're the best person to say like how it went. Like if you lose, there's always the worry that someone would be like, oh, they're just saying that because they lost. You won. So I'm interested to think like where we are right now with pro stock. Is this good? Is this perfect? Are we where we want to be? Are you happy?
Well, I guess you're never happy 100%, Joe, because you're not perfect all the time and you're not dominating the class. That's every one of our goal when we go to the race on the weekend is to find a way to dominate that race and win. And that just doesn't happen anymore in pro stock. They've got, the rules package now where everybody's so bunched in such a tight box that the product on the racetrack is so close. It comes down to, it used to be, I guess you divide it up. You got 3 main factors. You've got the driver, you've got the race car, and you got the engine. And let's call it a third. And with the engine so tight right now, it's absolutely swung that ratio where the driver is that much more important now. And I don't just mean, leaving the starting line and trying to cut 00 or teen lights or whatever, like Dallas Glenn and Aaron Stanfield and Jake Hoff, all these guys do. It's the shifting of the race car. It's the burnout, the staging of the race car. And that's what's so hard for people to understand. It probably looks easy from the grandstand, but all that part of it has to be darn near perfect every runner. You don't run those low ETs. So it's a total package, and the driver has absolutely become way more than a third of the package anymore.
Okay, notes like, why did you guys go out last? That was an interesting story. Everybody knows we had a plane crash at the facility. Literally everybody on the planet knows that story. That's the biggest story to come out of a drag strip in a long, long time, which is good because In-N-Out got some pub and NHRA got mentioned. People who didn't really understand drag racing got everybody, they were injuries, but they got out. But that changed the dynamic of the day, the scheduling, the flow, the rhythm of the day. Some might argue it factored into the Top Fuel World Championship as Justin and Antron were in the water box when it happened, and they had to go back to the pits, and it changed the weather, and it changed everything. How about you? And was that part of the reason that you guys went out last? Why was Pro Stock last down the racetrack? And what's the story behind that?
Well, it was pretty simple, Joe, and I didn't know anything about that either. We went up there, they told us be up there at whatever time, be in the water box at whatever time. So we go up there, got behind the bikes, the Pro Stock bikes, got ready to run, got buckled in the car, ready to start the car, and they came back and said, now they've decided they're going to run Top Fuel Funny Car first. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? I'm ready to go. I think I got my mind right finally, ready to go. And he said, well, here's the deal. The last round, the racetrack was really spooky down track, which it was in the semifinal. Basically, from the last 8th mile on, the cars were really, really loose and sliding around the racetrack. So I asked, the tech department if we could get possibly some more spray on the racetrack downtown or down track for the final. And they're like, we just don't know what we can do. And I looked at them like, what do you mean by that? Well, come to find out, the Top Fuel Funny cars could not stand any more spray down track. They were obviously, afraid of chunking tires and blowing a tire, and obviously can't have that. I already had one wreck during the day, a doggone plane come down. So you sure didn't want a Top Fuel car going through there and blowing a tire. So they didn't want to spray down track before the Top Fuel cars ran. So they're like, if you guys want spray in high gear, you're going to have to wait till after the Top Fuel cars. So that was an easy decision for our crew chiefs. I didn't know anything about it when I got up there, but that was the decision. That's why we ended up running last. So then they ran the Top Fuel Funny cars. Then they went out, sprayed the racetrack, and we ran.
Got it. Well, it's kind of cool, though, that the winner take all final was last, like the last thing, regardless of category. Maybe that'll be a policy. Like if there's going to be a winner take all final round.